Complaining very strongly about the ballots, and the ballots are a disaster.
Fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face! Fuck your own!
Tom Cruise said one word, and the internet exploded. On the day Trump's mugshot went viral, Hollywood's most private star broke his silence, sparking a fiery debate. Was he defending Trump or calling him out?
Those institutions. So once you start seeing this stuff, I'm telling you, you don't need to actually look at the polls. I don't think you need to be a professional.
Donald Trump's mugshot was released to the public on August 24th, marking a historic moment in American politics. It was the first time a former US president had a mugshot taken, and the image spread across the internet like wildfire. Within minutes, it became one of the most shared photos of the year, sparking intense debates, memes, and political commentary. For Trump's supporters, the mugshot was a symbol of defiance. They saw him as a political martyr, a man standing up against what they believed was a corrupt system out to destroy him. The phrase "never surrender," which Trump used in fundraising efforts after the mugshot's release, only fueled their belief that he was fighting back against political persecution.
And to me, it was actually, if you study culture and you study cultural texts, you see the stories that are coming out of Hollywood and coming out of other studios, you can start to see that there's been a shift in culture.
On the other hand, Trump's critics saw the mugshot as proof that justice was finally catching up to him. They believed the image symbolized accountability, a moment where a powerful figure was being held responsible for his actions. For them, this was not about politics, it was about the rule of law. Media outlets, talk shows, and online debates dissected every detail of the photo, from Trump's facial expression to the lighting of the image, turning it into a cultural phenomenon. Beyond the mugshot, Trump's legal troubles continued to dominate headlines. He faced multiple indictments, including charges related to attempts to overturn the 2020 election results in Georgia. His court cases were piling up, yet his influence over the Republican Party remained strong. Many of his supporters believed the charges against him were politically motivated and meant to weaken his chances in the 2024 election. Others saw them as part of a broader effort to prevent his return to the White House. Despite these controversies, his campaign used the mugshot as a rallying tool, printing it on t-shirts, coffee mugs, and posters, turning what should have been a moment of shame into a badge of honor.
Tonight's about movies and about Jack Reacher, so that's kind of what I'm here to talk about. But thank you.
You must have an opinion on Donald Trump and whether or not he's good for the country.
On the same day Donald Trump's mugshot was making waves across the internet, a post started circulating on social media discussing the spread of misinformation in the news. The post highlighted how a significant percentage of news shared on platforms like WhatsApp, Facebook, and Twitter was found to be fake or misleading. Given the intense debates surrounding Trump's mugshot and the legal cases against him, discussions about fake news were more heated than ever. Then, out of nowhere, Tom Cruise dropped a comment under the post. His comment? One simple word. Shocking. That was it. No explanation, no elaboration. Just one word. But in the world of social media, where every statement is analyzed, interpreted, and debated, that was all it took for the internet to explode. Within hours, fans and political commentators began speculating about what Cruise meant. Was he expressing shock over Trump's mugshot itself? Was he reacting to the way the media was handling the situation? Or was he, in a subtle way, calling out the accusations against Trump as part of the broader fake news narrative?
It scratched that itch, if you will. It filled that void of American exceptionalism. And then on Wednesday morning, when he accepted or gave his victory speech.
For Trump's supporters, Cruise's comment seemed like a subtle nod in their direction. Many interpreted it as him calling out media bias, aligning with Trump's long-standing claims that the media was out to get him. Since Trump had spent years branding negative coverage as fake news, some believed Cruise's comment was an indirect way of supporting that idea. Fans quickly started praising Cruise, with some calling him brave for speaking out, while others thanked him for standing against the so-called media manipulation. Tom Cruise is one of the few Hollywood stars who has managed to stay completely neutral in the world of politics. Unlike many celebrities who openly support or criticize politicians, Cruise has always kept his personal views under wraps. He rarely speaks about elections, policies, or political figures, and even when asked directly, he knows how to sidestep the conversation. This is a man who has been in the industry for decades and understands how tricky it can be for actors to express political opinions without alienating a portion of their fan base. One of the best examples of Cruise avoiding politics was during an interview when a reporter asked him about his thoughts on Donald Trump. Without hesitation, Cruise responded, "I'm here to talk about Jack Reacher." It was a classic move, redirecting the conversation to his movie and shutting down any attempt to get him to take a stance. That's why when he commented on an Instagram post the same day Trump's mugshot was released, people were shocked. It wasn't a long statement, not a political rant, just one word. Shocking. Yet, that single word was enough to make the internet go into full speculation mode.
American values like meritocracy, that the individual has access to the truth and can stand up against not competent and sometimes even corrupt.
Some people were convinced that this was Cruz subtly showing his support for Trump, aligning with those who believed the media had twisted the truth about the former president. Others thought he was mocking Trump and reacting to the absurdity of a former US president having a mugshot. Then there was a group who believed Cruz had no political intention at all. He was just stating the obvious. After all, whether you love or hate Trump, it's still shocking to see an ex-president booked in a county jail. The internet thrives on drama, and Tom Cruise's one-word comment was the perfect fuel for an all-out social media war. Fans, critics, and political commentators all jumped in, arguing over what Cruz meant and what it said about him as a person. As expected, the reactions were wildly divided, with people interpreting his comment based on their political leanings. Pro-Trump supporters were the first to claim Cruz as one of their own. They saw his comment as a subtle endorsement of Trump's ongoing battle with the media. Many believed Cruz was pointing out that the coverage of Trump's mugshot was exaggerated and that the entire situation was a media-driven attack against the former president. These supporters flooded social media with messages praising Cruz for having the courage to stand against the so-called fake news industry. Some even suggested that Cruz, with his reputation for bravery and leadership in movies, embodied the same fighting spirit as Trump himself.
I heard Lee is here. Lee Child, who's a British author, wrote this American, iconic now literary character you just can't stop reading.
On the other side, Trump's critics were not happy. Many longtime fans of Cruz expressed disappointment, worried that their favorite action star might secretly be a Trump supporter. They pointed out that Hollywood has largely rejected Trump, with many actors openly speaking out against him. Seeing Cruz make a comment that could be interpreted as sympathetic to Trump was, for them, deeply disappointing. They flooded Twitter, Instagram, and Reddit with posts saying they hoped Cruz wasn't revealing himself as a right-wing supporter. Some even declared that they would stop watching his movies if he turned out to be pro-Trump. Then there was the middle group, people who didn't see Cruz's comment as political at all. These fans argued that he was simply reacting to the unprecedented moment in history, not taking a side. To them, shocking was just a natural response to seeing a former US president's mugshot, nothing more. They believed the internet was blowing the whole thing out of proportion and turning a harmless comment into a political controversy. Many people in this camp also defended Cruz, saying he was likely unaware of how his words would be dissected and debated.
Character you just can't stop reading. It's like a great book when you're getting on a plane. And it's a very cinematic character. I love it. It's in the classic vein of, like Shane or Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry.
For many people, these themes align closely with conservative values. The idea of standing up against corruption, taking personal responsibility, and fighting for American exceptionalism resonates deeply with those who believe in a more traditional vision of the country. Some believe that Cruz's movie choices reflect his personal beliefs, even if he never openly talks about politics. So, what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below.